Hey, what's the first thing you need to ask a venue if you want to book a gig with them? I'm Craig from GigFaster, and make sure you subscribe below, hit the bell for notifications, and we're going to talk about the first thing that you need to say in your email to a venue to book a gig right now. If you aren't emailing venues to try to book gigs, then you're wasting your time. Like I've booked over 1,000 gigs over the last 20 plus years, and believe me, I spent hours upon hours, all times of the day, calling venues. And it's not fun, for one, and it doesn't work anymore, number two. Now, if you already have an existing relationship with the venue and you've been playing there forever, obviously call them and you get the gigs. So, but if you're reaching out to a venue you've never played at, the first thing you need to do is email them. And the first thing you need to ask them is nothing. All you're trying to do is introduce yourself. Imagine going down the street and you meet somebody and you have a new CD out, and you just meet them, and you're like, hey, you want to buy my CD? It's like, I don't think so, get out of my face, But instead, you go down the street and you see somebody you've known for a long time, and you're like, or at least you're acquainted with, say, hey, how's it going? It's nice to see you. It's like, hey, check this out. I got a new CD out. And they'll be like, oh, that's cool. Let me check it, You see how there's two different scenarios? Well, a lot of people make the major mistake when they're emailing venues or anybody else, and they try to cut to the chase right in the beginning, before you even have any respect or they even know who you are. The truth is that most emails aren't even going to get open on the first try, and that's why you have to follow up. But whenever you're just initially contacting the venues, you really have to make sure that you're doing it right and you're not, just ruining your chances to begin with. So the first thing you're going to do is just introduce yourself. And the best way to do this is to look at the club, look online, whatever you know about the club, and mention that initially. So, for example, when I play the Gary Hoey show, when I wanted to open for Gary Hoey at this place, I've never been before, and they didn't know me. It was hours away from where my home base is. So, what I basically in the subject line, I was like, Gary Hoey show on the date of the show. That got their attention, okay? That's the first thing that got them to open the email. That's the first obstacle. The second one is, all I said was something very simple, like, I see Gary Hoey's playing on blank, blank, blank that date. Is there any interest in an opening act? It's very non-demanding email. It's a very simple question for them to just say, like, oh no. Your whole point you're trying to do is to get them to reply. So they open your email, they read it, and they're like, no, sorry, we're not having any. Okay, that's cool. That's still a connection, okay? So now, no longer are you a stranger. So here comes another show. It's some other artist like, hey, yeah, hey, it's Craig. We talked about the Gary Hoey show. I was just curious, are you having any opening bands for this, And, you're making an acquaintance, so you're becoming familiar with that booking agent at that club. So that's the first thing you want to ask them, is nothing except for something super simple like that, like any interest in any new bands, any interest in, an opening act for this band, and you would be surprised. The first thing you want is them to reply. So then what? You have a conversation. Until you have a conversation, your voice is not heard. So do this and you'll have much more success whenever you're contacting venues or anybody you're trying to get something from, okay? So anyway, this is just part of what I include in Hometown Hero Ignite training. And we go from the foundation making sure your electronic press kit is right, your mindset is right, and you have all these things. You know, everything's built on solid foundation, so that the next thing you do is you're going to be getting fans, you're going to be booking gigs, and you're going to be, these fans are going to be turning into super fans, showing up to every show, whether it's online or whether it's live in person, which is what we really want. And you end up playing these large receptive crowds, shows that just like, you know, people are there to see you. They're not just there to drink and hang out like in background music. Like, they're actually there to engage with your shows, and that's the best. That's all we want. Money is secondary. But the thing is, the beautiful part about it is that whenever you're attracting a crowd like that, wherever you go, your money is going to increase. So it's a win-win. So check out hometownheroignite.com and you can get more information there. hometownheroignite.com. I'm Craig from GigFaster. Make sure you hit subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. And if you want to succeed, never quit.